Hi, singers. Welcome back to the Sing Confidently Live Creatively podcast. Estelle here. Today, we're talking about why riffs and the ability to sing riffs with confidence is relevant and important to all singers, but including musical theater singers and actors. Like it is still relevant to us, even though we're singing musical theater styles. Okay, we're going to get into all of that today, and I'm going to give you some tips for just things to think about when it comes to singing riffs. And hopefully, this helps you if you have upcoming auditions or a showcase or something like that. I'm going to update you guys because this is on my mind. Because first of all, because the Sing Confidently Masterclass is coming up, it's a free masterclass where I will get to hang out with you all on a Zoom room, and you'll have the opportunity to get spotlight coaching if you like. You get free coaching from me, and get feedback from other singers in the room, like have other people hyping you up, supporting you. It's just a great way to get that immediate feedback in the room. But that's going to be like in the second half of the masterclass. The first part of it, I'm going to teach a little bit of how we build confidence as singers, give us a refresher if you don't already know the steps that I kind of focus on in my course and in my framework that I use really when it comes to working with singers. I'm going to refresh you guys on that. And then also, I'm going to talk about a lot of the fundamentals of singing that so many singers do not know. And we need to know. We need to know technique. We need to know the fundamentals of how the voice actually works. And so that way we're able to feel really confident that, like, I know how to address this particular note in my voice. I know how to do this particular thing in my voice because I know how my voice works. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to relate that to singing riffs, singing runs, singing ad libs, improvisations, whatever you want to call it. When you're adding some sort of ornamentation to a song, how can you do that with confidence, right? And part of that is knowing how your voice works, right? Knowing how the vocal folds work and how we can develop agility in our voices, right? That's going to help you with singing runs. Okay, so we're going to talk about all of that in the masterclass. Let me not give it all away right now because it's going to be so fun when we do it together. But go to creativelybyestelle.com/studio. And at the top, you'll see the registration for the masterclass. It's free. You're going to get the replay as well. So definitely take advantage of it. It's fun. Like no one ever like master classes are like never free. So like the opportunity to get that spotlight coaching, it's really cool. I really think it's gonna be fun, and I hope that you come, especially if you've been listening to me talk about it. I'd be so excited to have you come. So go to creativelybyestelle.com/studio to get registered. So that is coming up, and we are going to focus a lot on riffing, because that has just been such a popular topic among you guys. Like every time I go to look at the my podcast analytics to see what you guys are liking, you all tend to like the riffing episodes a lot. So and then I did some polls on Instagram too, and I'm like, okay, I think we can lean into riffs a little bit. We can learn about this whole concept of vocal agility and like what's the anatomy behind it. What can we understand about what do we need to understand about our voices so that we can feel really confident when we go to work on adding runs and stuff to our songs. Okay, so that's what spurred it on. But I just want to give you some updates about me because I am a musical theater singer. I love singing. I've loved singing my whole life, but I really got into musical theater in like middle school, high school, maybe high school more. And I did my first like I did a couple, like, I did like a partial musical or so in high school, but I just loved them. Like, I would just sing musicals just for fun and like sing songs from musicals just for fun and stuff. And then the summer after high school is when I did my first one. And it was like a summer camp before I went to college. It was so much fun and literally like the best 2 weeks of my life. Like it was just one of those like really, really time crunch of a shows that you have to put up in just a couple weeks. And it was just so much fun. And since then, I just fell in love with musicals even more. I would take any chance I could to like see a show on campus when I was in college. And I started auditioning for some in college too, at the end of college. And of course, COVID happened right after I graduated, but I just still embraced musical theater. And that's when I started. It was like around COVID, and yeah, around COVID, after COVID. sometime in there where I started posting videos on TikTok of me just really embracing musical theater even more and like discovering the joy of singing again after like going through the whole process of medical school and all that stuff, but being like, no, I want to do musical theater, right? So I fell in love with it all over again. All that to say, I'm just giving you guys some background in case you're new here or you didn't know all this all this stuff with my journey with music and med school and all that. But so I started posting really consistently on TikTok, musical theater reels, musical theater, not reels, I guess TikToks, yeah, videos of me singing musical theater and just falling in love with all these songs and cast recordings and stuff like that. And yeah, here I am now. Since then, I've been in plays. I've done Shakespeare, I've done like straight plays, but I haven't done a musical as an adult. But now I just got cast in a show, and I intentionally chose it to be, something that worked with my schedule because I am finishing up my master's. And so I need to make sure that it works with my schedule, but it does. And I'm going to be able to be in Sound of Music, and I'm really looking forward to that. And so with that in mind, I just am thinking about like, musicals and being a musical theater singer and what does that mean for, ornamentation, like riffs. Like, why are riffs still relevant to us, even though we are singing musical theater? And of course, I'm talking about Sound of Music. That is, Sound of Music is a very, it's a golden age show. So it's very influenced by the classical, Western voice style of singing. And because of that, it's, long vowels, you think of a lifted soft palate, you think of soaring, spinning notes and lots of vibrato and all of that, which is beautiful, lots of legato. Like I love it. However, a lot of musicals these days, and in the last even like 20 years, like a lot of musicals are moving so much towards like pop, rock influence. You're even seeing like folk as well. It shows like Once in Hadestown, to say the least. And like you're seeing just of course like hip hop and soul music, even with Motown and Ain't Too Proud. Like you're seeing all these shows that are incorporating way more than just the traditional Broadway sound or the traditional, golden age classical vocal sound, right? And so with that being said, riffs are back. Like riffs are here. They're here and they're not going away. And the ability to riff, it's not that you're necessarily going to have to come up with a riff on your own, like in an audition or whatever, or when you're doing a show or something like that, because the music director is going to be the one who kind of like tells you, kind of helps you come up with whatever is needed, right, for a vocal line. So I've music directed a few shows now with like kids and junior shows this semester and this year and last year. And like my students, like I'm there to help them, right? I'm there to kind of guide them, like if they want to do this thing with their voice, I can help them do that, right? So it's not that you're necessarily going to have to come up with your own riff per se if you're in a show or even an audition, but what you want to develop is vocal agility. That is the ability for your vocal folds to move from different notes between different notes at a rapid pace, right? And that's what we do when we riff, right? And so if you're singing musical theater, even if you're not the one coming up with the riff, but you're singing a song that has a riff built into it, like there are already musical theater songs that have like little riffs in them, right? Contemporary shows where the original singer on the cast recording had a riff. And so you need to be able to have that vocal agility to sing it in that way, right? Or in a way that works for your voice. And so that way you're not feeling afraid of, oh, I have this riff coming up and I don't know, I can never quite hit the notes that fast, right? What you need to do is develop vocal agility. And so it is relevant. It's so relevant. It's so important that we are able to feel confident that, like, yeah, I can break down the notes, I can slow them down, I can work on them, and I can build that agility in my vocal folds to be able to sing that riff at that pace with ease. And so I want you to know that it is relevant. It is important. Okay. You don't have to come up with them all the time, but it can help for you to develop vocal agility. The other thing I want you to know is that you can also use riffs during musical interludes, right? So if you have like a showcase or you have an audition and maybe there's like a little musical interlude in the middle of the song that you're singing, you can add a little bit of a riff, add a little bit of a run. I guess that'll be a run since it's like a longer phrase. Maybe that you're adding like a little phrase of like music or a scat, kind of like a scat in jazz, where you're filling the space in between and not, kind of trying to figure out, okay, what do I do where there's this random interlude in the song. What do I do? You don't have to worry about filling the space and feeling awkward or uncomfortable. You can add a run. And so when you've developed vocal agility and you have like a confidence that you can riff, you can pull out these different notes and play around with them in your voice, you can improvise a bit. When you feel that confidence in yourself, you'll be able to do that in an audition, in a showcase, in a performance. Maybe you're singing online, right? Where it's you who gets to decide what you're going to do with that song and make it your own. That's a great way to make it your own, right? So that you're not just singing this song in the same way that, this person sang it on Broadway or this person sang it in the cast recording. You can do it in your own different way. And the way to do that is by adding a riff or adding a run in the middle of the song. Okay. So I just want to encourage you, like, even if you're a musical theater singer, riffs are still important. Riffs are still important. They're still relevant to us. So come to the masterclass so we can talk about this more, so you can learn how you can build that vocal agility in order for you to sing riffs and runs with ease and not feeling like you're swallowing the notes or you're like not quite hitting the notes, like, oh, you're trying to get to it, but you're a little bit off pitch or a little bit below the pitch, right? That happens if you haven't developed that vocal agility. That's what's going to happen. You're going to be a little bit off pitch, or you're not going to quite get there, or the placement's going to be off. That's another thing. So we need to kind of have that foundation of good vocal technique, healthy vocal technique, which we're going to learn about in the masterclass. And then from there, we need to know how we are going to develop agility so that our vocal folds can hit those notes with ease. And it's totally possible. Don't count yourself out that because, oh, you're a musical theater singer, you're not built for riffing, you can't sing these pop styles and whatnot. They're here to, like, they're here. They are here in the Broadway world, in the musical theater world. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. So, let's be willing to try. Let's be willing to improvise. Let's be willing to experiment and be creative. Like, I think runs and riffs, they honestly used to intimidate me too, but I realized that it's an opportunity for us to be really creative with our voices and see what they can do. And so I hope that that encourages you, that you absolutely can do it. You can feel confident when you're doing these riffs. I have bunch of episodes breaking down riffs and talking about riffs and vocal exercises to help you learn riffs and stuff. So make sure you go listen to those, but come to the masterclass so we can talk about this even more. Let me know if you enjoyed this or if you have more questions about this. You can come to my Instagram at creatively by Estelle and just DM me. Ask me, any questions you have, or let me know if you liked this episode and you want more episodes geared towards musical theater singers or talking about riffs or whatever. Come DM me and I will absolutely respond and follow up with you and make sure that you get that answered. Okay. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you have an amazing day, you guys, and I will talk to you later. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode and to this show. I'm so in awe of you for being here and showing up for your creative gifts. That takes courage. Don't forget to join the Performing Arts community on Facebook for support and inspiration as you continue on your journey. If this episode helped or inspired you in any way, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and share it with someone. It means so much. Thank you again, and don't forget to keep singing, acting, dancing, performing, and living creatively. Talk to you next time.